We are at the halfway point of stewardship season, and we have received 48 pledges totaling $132,690. This is great progress, and many thanks to those of you who have submitted your pledge. If you have not yet submitted your pledge, please do so on the St. George's website or by using the QR code on the screen or in the collection plate on Sunday. For this week's stewardship video, we met with two very special individuals who are training for holy orders. James Graham just finished the discernment process and is being sponsored by St. George's to attend the Virginia Theological Seminary as a postulant. Suzanne Clune came to us this year as a candidate for holy orders and was ordained in June. We are looking at photos from her ordination at the Philadelphia Episcopal Cathedral, and many St. George's were there to support her. She is now serving as Associate Rector at St. Christopher's in Gladwin. Claire and I sat down with both Suzanne and James to hear about their progress. Hello. So today we're going to talk to James Graham and Suzanne Clune. As we talk about frequently, we spend a lot of time thinking about how we educate our children and bring them up to have a really solid religious foundation. But St. George's has also been involved in the development of new clergy. So we're going to talk to them about the various stages of their journey. Why don't we start with, I guess, ladies first, Suzanne. So tell us what you are up to.
So I am, after enjoying a wonderful year at St. George's with all of you, as of October 1st, I am officially have been the interim associate rector of St. Christopher's in Gladwin, where I will be for this next season.
Excellent. So you are working with another priest.
I am. We're there as a clergy team to help. So in the Episcopal Church, oftentimes when a parish has had a rector there for a long tenure, an interim will come in to help discern, prepare, and get all things ready for the next long-term rector. So it's a little unusual for me, but I'm really excited. Normally you do this at the end of your ordained career, most people.
Yeah.
But this has dovetailed so beautifully with the things that I'm studying for my PhD that it's been a great fit. And the person I'm working with is fantastic.
Awesome. Awesome. And James, what are you up to?
So I'm currently ramping up for finals in my first semester here at Virginia Theological Seminary. It has been a wild, however long it's been, 6 months, 8 months. It feels like an inordinate length of time and also the shortest period of time in my life, with a lot of reading and a lot of paper writing.
I would imagine. So how long are you there?
So I will be here, God willing, for another 2.5 years, at which point I will be hopefully welcomed back with open arms to the Diocese of Pennsylvania.
Excellent. And are you definitely committed to Pennsylvania, or could you decide to go to Hawaii, go
So
somewhere
don't plant
else?
any ideas in his mind.
No, I will, Elizabeth and I will be coming back to Pennsylvania.
Wonderful.
It's where Wawa is. Our nearest Wawa is over half an hour away. It's ridiculous.
That's terrible. Where are you going? 7-Eleven?
We just don't go to convenience stores. It's very
That's
sad.
inconvenience stores, James. But
True.
So let me ask you a question for St. George's, because you've both been a part of the St. George's family for quite some time, and we miss you already. How has St. George's affected your spiritual journey? And either one of you can answer, whichever one wants to jump in.
Sure, I'll jump in first. So for those who may not have known previously, I came from an atheist background. And it was only when dating my wife that I came back to church, and pretty much immediately I discerned that St. George's was the right place for me to grow. First, coming to the 8 o'clock services and trying to sneak out before anyone knew I was there. Clearly that didn't work. And then I joined the choir, started serving as a lector and intercessor, and eventually as an acolyte for Father Joel. And every time I got more involved in St. George's, I just felt this increasing pull to be more deeply involved in worship and liturgy. And that has led to where I am now. Um, Walking that path of discernment with Father Joel was incredibly special, and spiritually rewarding. And that is really not an opportunity that I think I would have had. Well, it's an opportunity I would have had with other priests, probably, but um, Father Joel was definitely um, a wonderful mentor and guide, kind of pushing me along in this process.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Suzanne, how about you? How does St. George fit into your spiritual journey?
This St. George has played a really pivotal role. So I came to St. George's last year in the fall as a candidate for holy orders. I had been a postulant, and then in the process that James is in now, and I look forward to when he's a postulant now, and then he'll be a candidate, and every good thing after that. And part of my formation was to spend time in my sending parish is what I would consider broad church. And so the opportunity was presented to me to be able to spend some meaningful time in a parish that's a little bit, how should we say, higher up on the candlestick, a little bit more Anglo-Catholic. And this has been the most wonderful experience. What I was so happy to see in practice, first off, from literally the first Sunday I was there, okay, so I can talk about two things. One is just the gift that Father Joel is to the parish and to the diocese, and has been to me personally. I'm so happy that I consider him. He's a friend, and he has been a mentor, and he's a friend, and I am so grateful for that connection. And in addition to the community of St. George's, from the first Sunday I was there, how welcomed I was, and how just wanted to get to know me as a person, not, oh, who are you and why are you here? So warm, so friendly. From the pre coffee hour before the 8 a.m. service to the coffee hour afterward to after um, and how kind everyone is, and the connection. St. George's beautifully demonstrates the deep connection between um, the honoring in the liturgy of the use of form,
Mhm.
but not for form's sake. It's alive. It's not an artifact. It's alive and meaningful, and it's coupled with a deep desire to what does Jesus have to say to us today, and how does our relationship with Jesus impact the life in which we live in the parish and also in the larger community. And I've seen that demonstrated so beautifully over this past year. And that's something that has been really meaningful for me.
What a great description of St. George's. And we've been thrilled to have both of you as a part of our community. Sam, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Suzanne, were you raised Episcopalian? What was your upbringing?
So I wasn't. I was raised in a church in the Anglican tradition. So I equate it with, and I've been thinking more about this because I have a deep love for tradition, but not for tradition's sake, for the active practice of the liturgy and the meaning of ritual. Ritual's a good thing. But I was raised in a church that had the vestiges of the Anglican service,
Mhm.
but was disconnected from, they did things, but they didn't think about why they did things, if that makes sense. And so I found, with my husband, I found the Episcopal Church when we were in our 20s, and we had just had our first daughter and our first child. And then it just had been this wonderful journey that a very gracious God has taken me on to bring me to this point. And I've been able to have a lot of wide experiences in the body of Christ, and to be at this point and this place and time now is just amazing.
And what was your sort of first career before you made this transition? And I guess it happened as you were sort of done raising kids and had some time to think about
So
what next, or
that's so let's see. So there's that spans like 30 some years. So let's
yeah.
see. Once upon a time, I was a high school history teacher and also did economics and philosophy. And then went back to school because I got my master's in medieval church history specifically, and I was going to stay to get a PhD in that. And I was about 8.5 months pregnant with our first child, and I thought there was a question of work-life balance that I wasn't really thrilled about at the time.
Yeah.
So I just opted not to do that. And to be honest, I was really excited not to be in school anymore as well. And I then started my own business. I have been weaving. I've been a weaver for about 30-ish years. So, but it also extends into textile restoration. And so I was an antiques dealer specializing in textiles, 19th and 20th century textiles for years, and would work with film houses in the West Coast to source like all the things that we have here on the East Coast that they have nothing like that there. So quilts and all kinds of stuff. It was fun. And then that morphed in, one thing morphs into another. I was doing my weaving professionally for a while. I've also worked at two non-Episcopal churches in pastoral and ministry related positions. And it was at the end of working at the second one, this was before the pandemic, that I, God is gracious because initially I was at a church, a Ash Wednesday service, and um, I had a very profound experience with the Holy Spirit, and I could hear, not audibly, but the feeling of "Come serve me in my house," and that just wrecked me.
Really?
Yes,
I
and
got goosebumps.
that absolutely wrecked me. And um, my husband and I started, said, he said, "What do you think that?" I said, "Well, I know what that means, but I don't know." And that was like leading into more time of prayer. And at the time I was doing a lot of writing and doing like writing curriculum for churches for Bible studies and courses and stuff like that. So I was thinking, well, I think maybe I'm supposed to go get my MDiv so I can really write have the background to write theology books. And then that led to, sorry, this is like a super long
No.
No, I love this. Keep
you'll
going.
trim this part. Um, that led into going to a multi-denominational seminary, Fuller in California, where I met the most wonderful Anglicans and Episcopalians, and which realizing like I need to come home. I've been away and I need to come home. And then one thing led to another. I got COVID and then long COVID, had to take time off, and I didn't think I'd be able to go back to school, or I was grappling with maybe I wouldn't be doing anything because it was that bad.
Oh, wow.
And then I got better, and thanks be to God, and turned up one Sunday upon the recommendation of one of my professors to St. James in Collegeville. Met Mike Sowards, who's the priest there, and he's, "So, are you in discernment?" I said, "What are you talking about? No, of course not. Of course I'm not." And then that journey led from one thing into another, and um, uh, I was given a fellowship to fully funded to do a PhD in theology. So I started that, and I'm midway through that now. And one thing led to another, and now I'm my ordination date for the priesthood is set for Friday, February 20th at St. Christopher's in Gladwin. So
Hey, and we're invited to come
you
to
were all
watch,
invited to
right?
come. You better come.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll be there. We'll be there. So you've always been a scholar. I mean, throughout your various journeys, and you mentioned potentially writing books, theological books. Do you have like a specific theme or book of the Bible that you're interested in, or what do you think you want to focus on?
So I really love biblical languages. However, for my PhD, what I'm focusing on is after a lot of prayer, because I thought, okay, what am I going to do it on that can be the most useful to the church today? And where I feel God led me to is the field of practical theology. So my two areas of focus with my PhD work is congregational development, like how we develop our people in our parishes, and how we that's formation, that's all of that healthy places of being, and also adaptive church leadership. So how we have and how we grow and develop leaders to be able to there's a lot with the the gospel is never changing, but our culture is ever changing.
Yeah.
And those two things together mean we have to think deeply about all the things we're doing. And so that's that is a particular, but that being said, I love doing like I don't know if I have Exodus is probably one of my favorite books, and probably probably the Gospel of Luke.
Love it.
Do you have a favorite book
Um,
of the
Me?
Bible? Not
Oh, yeah, for me, it's Jonah for the Old Testament and the Gospel of John for the New Testament.
What do you like about Jonah?
He is the unwilling prophet, and kind of looking back at my own life, the constant turning away or running away from God, um, and then eventually, perhaps somewhat reluctantly, coming to terms with it's not what I want to do; it's what God has planned for me. Um, that theme just resonates with me.
So what classes are you taking now?
So I'm currently taking my first of two Old Testament classes. We are covering Genesis through hopefully Second Kings. Um, I'm taking Biblical Hebrew,
Oh my
which
goodness.
is Suzanne can attest that Hebrew is complicated and fun. Taking Historical Church Witness, which kind of covers the apostolic age through kind of the early high medieval period. I'm taking Anglican History and Identity and Anglican Thought, which are kind of um, the same thing in different regards. Anglican thought covers more of Anglican theology as it's developed over the past 500 years, and Anglican history focuses more on the historical side of it. And also taking Introduction to uh, Proclamation, Liturgy, and Music, where we sang hymns and learned about the supplements to the hymnal that nobody knows about.
So you're just diving right into the deep end of the Anglican tradition and learning and keep paddling.
It's yeah, it's brutal. It's terrible.
Will you be able
Um,
to
it
write in Hebrew? Like how many years of Hebrew do you have to take?
uh so I'm only required to take this introductory course. If I want to, I can continue to take Hebrew. I'm 50-50 on that at the moment, because it is a significant time commitment. Um, but yeah, we're straight into writing. Currently doing Uh, a paper on Gregory of Nyssa and the influence of on not three gods to Trinitarian theology, which, if that sounds fascinating and you want to learn more about homoousia and homoiousios, heteroousios, and homoia, you can ask me about that at coffee hour.
Excellent. Well, we'll
There
take
you go. We're
you
gonna
up
have
on
a
it.
scintillating coffee hour when you're back, James.
Just yeah, give me a couple of minutes and maybe a few cookies to get over the PTSD.
Oh my goodness.
Deal.
And do you have to learn Greek as well? Do they do introductory Greek or no?
So I'm a glutton for punishment, and I am contemplating possibly taking Intro to Greek next year. It's not necessary, but it is good for exegeting New Testament, and when you're looking at terms like homoousios. The kind of the earliest theology development tends to happen in the East, and knowing Greek is unfortunately helpful for that.
Amazing. That's it's heavy duty. So you have the equivalent of essentially a master's by the time you're done. What is the degree that you get when you're finished?
So the degree I will be getting will be a Master of Divinity. Sometimes it feels like you're kind of doing doctoral work and getting a master's,
Well,
but
Suzanne is. So if you end up following her footsteps,
That's why he's going to start taking all of his language classes now,
yeah,
just in
you might
case.
be in this for a while. Oh my
I,
God.
well, we'll see
I
where
like
the
the
Holy
panic on
Spirit.
James's face right now.
We'll
No!
see where the Spirit leads, but for now, a PhD is definitely off the table.
I see. Now, Suzanne, how close are you to finishing? Just thesis?
So I'm actually about ready to, I'm studying to take my comprehensive exams right now. And then I have to formally defend um, my proposal, but at the same time, I already have some chapters written. So, um, Lord willing, I will be done in about 2 years-ish, if not sooner.
Excellent.
But
Excellent.
I'll be happy if it's in 2.
I mean, if you've already got some chapters done, it looks like you're on your way. And then the hope would be to maybe publish as a book or
That would be hopefully that's maybe.
You know what I love hearing about from both of you is that you have both had such diverse paths, and yet you both essentially said the same thing. You could not deny God's message to you, and that's taking you down pathways that neither one of you seem to expect. Yet, I mean, Suzanne, listening to you, it's all coming together, right? And James, it will, right? Because you're developing a whole vocabulary and a knowledge that as a former atheist you didn't even have, right? So
Mhm.
I mean, when I say you're diving into the deep end of the pool, I mean, I'm not joking about that, but look at both of you. I mean, you started out here with us at St. George, and it is amazing to see how God is using each of you on your own path to really bring his word to more people. And that's a gift to us, right? Because as members of St. George, it's really easy for us to get caught up in our little worlds of, we go to church, we got to volunteer, it's coffee hour, we got to do this. But to know that God is at work in both of you is a gift to every single person in St. George. So being able to be with you both on the journey has been tremendous for all of us. And you are both in our prayers on a regular basis. And we think of you regularly. And James, I'm just going to tell you straight up, miss seeing you in the choir. I really do. But I
well,
know you're doing
you
important
might
things.
be making a guest appearance at some point,
There
right?
you go.
I hope so.
So how does it feel? I mean, particularly Suzanne, because now you're wearing
I know, isn't this wild?
it is
I
wild.
love seeing it.
So how do what does that feel like? And you guys didn't just come to this right out of college. How have the people in your lives and Suzanne, for you, your children, have they all been supportive? Have they
Yeah.
reacted positively? And does it feel awkward at all, or it just feels right and everything's good?
It feels totally normal. And I have been encouraged by uh, some friends who are already priests that wear your collar, wear your collar. And so if I have to do errands on the way home or whatever, I don't take it off. And it's I always get some interesting well, if I'm wearing a striped shirt, it's harder to see that it's a clergy
Yeah.
collar. I realized that the other day. But when I'm wearing it with a black shirt, I feel really blessed. My husband and my children and my children's spouse, the spouses, my extended their in-laws and everything are super, super supportive. And in fact, my daughter-in-law's mother even flew up for my ordination to the diaconate from Tennessee to be here, and that was
Well, that's
I
very nice.
feel
Yeah.
really blessed that in this season of my life I have this is Father Joel will joke about he's made jokes about like I'm going from glory to glory, and I agree, and it has been just the most delightful and wonderful thing. And you were saying before, Claire, about the, sometimes you think you get into a routine of we're a church, we're a coffee hour, we're doing this, we have this coming up and everything. And I take all of you with me. Like when I'm at St. Christopher's, you're still with me in my heart. You're still because St. George's has been such an integral part of my formation that it's not like, oh yeah, I did that. Oh, okay. And now I'm on to the next thing. No, it's more like there's this wonderful accretion of, oh, that's still part of who I am. That when I get to run into some of you and see you, it's the best thing. And it's special. My time with all of you has been really, really special, and has really even informed I knew I loved liturgy, and I knew I loved high, a more formal, um, I'll say Anglo-Catholic, but at the same time and I'm very much the type of person where how important it is to affirm and respect of whatever the culture of the parish is, but to see how you all do it in terms of it's not form for form's sake, it's not ritual for ritual's sake. It's a deep connection that Father Joel intentionally makes on your behalf and demonstrates that really has stuck with me, and really has that's really shaping me, I think, as on this threshold of being ordained as a priest, and what that means for this next part of my life. That's something that's going to stay with me forever.
Oh, that's fantastic. Love hearing that.
That's amazing. What about you, James? Have your friends been able to adjust to you in this in your new career?
So yeah, thankfully, like Suzanne, my family, extended family, in-laws, friends have all been very, very encouraging and affirming of this. Even friends that I had in high school who are mostly very secular. Um, my best friend from high school kind of um, said it made sense for the trajectory of my life path that he knew from before, of always kind of seeking out the answer um, to what the meaning of existence is. So I have been very blessed that family, especially Elizabeth, as she has been uh, willing to relocate to Virginia and leave her family and friends behind in Pennsylvania. Everyone has just been incredibly supportive. St. George's has been incredibly supportive, and there is not enough room in my heart to thank everyone at St. George's for how much they've done for the guidance and mentorship and friendship of Father Joel, for all of the prayers from that have been coming with me from everyone in the parish. St. George's has a fund for seminarians, and the vestry has been incredibly um, generous, and I've really been blessed with financial support from the parish that's helped make this transition and my education a lot more feasible. And just for St. George's to place that faith and trust in me and in this calling is just absolutely astonishing. I mean, it's truly um, it's an incomprehensible gift from God.
Well, I can tell you when Father Joel told the vestry that you were thinking about embarking upon this journey, exactly no one was surprised. And
Very true. Yeah.
and everyone was delighted that you were doing this and so happy that they had this special fund to support you and hopefully others to follow in the coming years to become amazing members of the clergy and to serve us proud. So we're delighted that we had both of you, and we miss you both. And
Thank you. The worst part really about the seminary experience and going into the hopefully candidacy and ordination process is knowing that I will not be coming back to St. George's.
Well, in an official capacity, we're
In an
dragging
official
you back
capacity.
here to hang out with us. And Suzanne's coming back too at various points because we don't let go.
No, no, and I'm very thankful for that. I will definitely be back to visit.
And that's the interesting thing about both of you. I mean, you're both on your individual journeys, and James, in a way, we claim you as our homegrown student, right? And we are looking forward to the path that God has you on and to see your career grow. And Suzanne just came in and brought such a positive energy. I mean, even the knitting group, I mean, that's just such a good vibe, right? And to have both of you and to see the mix of you know how faith progresses is truly the gift that you've given to us. And Sam and I are here working on stewardship, and to know that the people of St. George truly do support both of you with their own time, their talent, and their treasure is huge. But nothing makes us happier than to see your successes wherever you go, whether it's, today or 10 years or 20 years from now, because you're ours.
Yeah.
And we're excited for both of you.
absolutely.
There's something really beautiful about with the call and the discernment and the ordination process, because it's not a it's easy to point to someone and say, okay, they're getting ordained, they're a deacon, they're a priest. But what you're not seeing is the multitude of people that have carried that person throughout the whole thing and continue to carry that person. And that's the most beautiful thing in our about our polity, that this is how we do this. We do it all in community, and you can't, there's no way to do it otherwise. And that's great, because um you need all the people. You really do need all the people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
St. George's is such a wonderful representation of the body of Christ, kind of working exactly as it's supposed to, with
Yes.
everyone who donates their time, their treasure, their talent. It allows very beautiful worship. It allows opportunities for people like me and Suzanne to come in and be formed and educated and kind of really develop our future ministry with St. George's, and to bring St. George's with us wherever we go.
So what will you take from Father Joel? What lessons have you learned from him? What do you think you'll try and apply in your own careers going forward? What do
Uh,
you appreciate most?
so right one is the right one, as he is very fond of saying. Um, really, I think it's just his one of the things I've learned most and appreciate most about Father Joel is that he gives his whole self to his ministry. He doesn't hold back at all. Every single day he is there. As a priest, he is giving himself entirely to his vocation. And it's just incredibly inspiring to see that level of commitment and faith and trust in God. And I hope that I can bring a fraction of what Father Joel brings to my future ministry.
Yeah, absolutely. Such a a heart that is so sincerely and honestly lives out worship, what it means to worship God in 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 formal settings and also in one's life. And the other thing I so greatly, in addition, I agree with everything James just said. Um, I also think how wonderful it is that Father Joel's way of being is, he'd like to see everyone win. And that's a really, in a time that we live in where our culture is so polarized, um, he's so committed to, okay, here's how we all need to be formed. Here's how we all let's focus on what really matters, and that is the person of Jesus Christ. And that is so so important that it's easy to say, oh, of course, of course we might think that. But of course a priest would do that. But I think it needs to be said that there's the intentionality of what is conveyed through sermons, through actions, through interactions. That's something I so admire about him.
Sounds amazing. And I would 100% agree with both of you. Well, we really appreciate you both joining us today. Is there any final thoughts you want to share, or should we go ahead and wrap up?
All right, guys, thank you so much. And again, we're all tremendously proud of you and looking forward to keeping in touch and seeing where you end up and how your journey goes. And we wish you all the best.
Thank you
So much.
Thank you.